My name is Mike Cobb. I am the CEO of ECI Development and started working in the region back in 1993 with a small mortgage company in Belize, which I'm here in Belize today, actually, sitting in what is today Key International Bank. So our mortgage company became a bank 20 years ago. And we also have started development companies and some other businesses in the region, but have been working here for 32 years now in Belize, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Honduras, with projects in El Salvador and other locations coming up shortly as well.
And can you tell me what inspired you to speak at the Escape Artist Plan B Summit?
Absolutely, Isha. I think the most important thing that we can do as an organization is find ways to serve consumers who are looking for a product overseas. Our mortgage company did that early on. It was our very first business because there was no mortgage money. People from US and Canada were coming to Belize at the time, just Belize, and and they wanted to get a mortgage for a property, and no bank in the United States or Canada would lend the money. No banks here would. And so we identified a need, and that was to provide financing. So that's how that business started. But in the evolution of that, what we found was that many people were coming to the region, especially middle class consumers, and they simply were not getting the kind of product that they wanted, whether it was a home or a condominium, or even a home site in an area that would eventually become a real neighborhood, a real community. And so what we've done over the years is figured out how to build community with a product that meets a North American expectation and standard in Central America. And so speaking at these conferences is really important. Escape Artist does a tremendous job of getting the word out via newsletters and webinars and things like that. But absolutely nothing beats meeting people face to face, because it's in those face to face meetings. Yeah, there's a conference and, I speak to the attendees. I mean, there's, whatever theater setting or whatever, and people, listen and, whatever. It's really the times in between the talks. It's the time at breakfast or at lunch or in the evenings, or the coffee breaks. This is when the real information is passed, right? Because someone will ask me a very specific question about something that's very relevant to them. And so one of the reasons I encourage people to attend conferences is you get this one-on-one time. You get that chance to talk about the things that are extremely important to you. When we engage in those one-on-one conversations in person, that is what is the most meaningful to me, because it is absolutely the most meaningful to the person who attends the conference.
Thanks, Mike. You're absolutely correct. And can you tell me what you will be speaking about at the event and why it would be important for attendees?
Absolutely. The thing that I normally present on, and I will be presenting on again here at the Escape Artist Conference, is what I call the 10 questions that everybody should ask when they buy property overseas. When we go outside our home country, whatever that is, we are going to a different land. We're going to a different set of rules. We're going to a different set of norms and all kinds of things. And when we come out of North America, especially, or Northern Europe, and we go to the developing world, wherever that is, we are generally leaving the land of seller beware, right? Think lemon laws, think consumer advocacy groups like Ralph Nader and all the kinds of laws, the Can Spam Act, right? So in North America, Northern Europe, we're in this bubble of seller beware. And that's great. But the problem is when we go to the developing world, not only are we going to not our home and not our rules, in many cases, we're moving to the world of buyer beware. And because we've transacted all of our commercial transactions in a seller beware environment where you have recourse against the seller, when you go to a buyer beware environment, you may have little or no recourse against a seller. They might just out and out lie to you, right? And so we don't know how to transact in a buyer beware environment very well. And so what this presentation does, the 10 questions we should ask before we buy property overseas, this presentation arms us with questions that we should be asking. We only cover 10 of them in the presentation. We have 30 of them in our consumer resource guide. And in my book, I highly recommend my book, by the way. It'll be the best $1 you ever spend. Buy the book before you come to the conference, right? If you're thinking about owning property overseas, right? Then when we get together at a coffee break, you will already know a lot of it and you can ask very relevant questions. But really, it's Isha, this presentation is to help prepare people to move from seller beware to buyer beware environments and understand how to transact successfully, safely, wonderfully, and get that new property that's so exciting and so wonderful, right? And get everything you want out of it. And we can, but we just have to think differently, ask a lot more questions, questions that we would never think about asking in a seller beware environment, and then starting to think differently. Those are the things that are really fundamental to my presentation at the Escape Artist Conference.
Thank you, Mike. And do you have any final thoughts or words of encouragement for attendees considering joining the summit?
Yeah, buy your plane ticket. It's just that simple. Go online right now and buy your plane tickets, right? You can figure out the rest of it later. The conference dates are set. I can't remember. It's the first, Saturday and Sunday of May, whatever those dates are. Buy your plane tickets. Like if you are considering owning property overseas or investing overseas or any of the other things that are going to be talked about at this conference, just go buy your plane tickets. Las Vegas is cheap and easy. Every place in the United States and Canada flies there. Buy your plane tickets. Come to the conference. If you're interested in owning property overseas, go to Kindle or go to Amazon and buy my book on Kindle for $1, right? Read the book before you come. Come prepared. Bring a list of questions that are important to you. Because if you do that, you have taken the conference to a whole new level. You've made it personal to you. And you know what? If you do that, you will get 1,000 times the value of what you invest in a plane ticket and a hotel and a conference registration. But today, right now, the simplest and easiest thing to do is go online, Kayak. I love Kayak, and just buy your plane tickets right now. The rest will fall into place, and you will be very glad you did it.
Fantastic, Mike. I very much look forward to seeing you on the 3rd to the 5th of May.
Likewise,
Thank you.
indeed. Thanks.